Alright, welcome back. Sped up motion. Post commentary. Stuff. Why? Same reason as always. For the most part, I was just not pleased with commentary this episode. And so we're just rectifying that. This might be better, this might not be better. Sometimes, you know, I've had people say, oh, the post commentary is cool. I personally don't prefer it, but there you go. So, we spent a lot of time doing block puzzles. Trying to make everything efficient. I didn't make this efficient at all. But, alright, so going for these last couple Triforce pieces. The first room we did was actually the easier of the three. The last two rooms were... The Room of Power was the one that was probably the most challenging. And the Room of Wisdom was probably second most challenging. I mean, there's only three, so it's either 1, 2, or 3, but... Yeah, the one of Courage was just fight stuff, so that was cool. Which still makes sense. It ties into Link's whole thing. Like, Link is, you know, the courageous one. He usually has the piece of courage. The Wisdom one made sense because it was kind of, you know, puzzle thing. Like, oh, you need to do this. Plus, it was Lanayru's thing. Also, like, they kept the theme synonymous. Master, look over that way. I have identified the design on the floor there as the mark of Nehru. I detect the sacred power of the Triforce radiating from it. Unfortunately, the way leading to the market is closed off. Yeah, because you look in, like, Wisdom, it's in the Lanayru area, and then the Courage is in the Pharaoh area, and then Din's thing is going to be the volcano area of the place. So they did a good job keeping everything really consistent. The only thing that didn't feel super consistent was the power room wasn't really... The puzzles in the power area for the Din's room were on point, like that's what it's supposed to be, but you know, look, like, to get the Triforce Courage you have to fight stuff, like you have to be courageous, fight stuff in, you know, kind of a spooky place, that's the thing. And then here, you have to be, you know, I guess wise. You know, you have to be paying attention to your surroundings, like, and, you know, do little puzzles. But then you do the Din's part, the power part. I'm not sure how that's supposed to be represented. And it didn't seem... It was just like another giant puzzle room, which wasn't bad, but... And like I said, it was synonymous with the puzzle room, or like the puzzles of the volcano area. But it didn't... You didn't feel like you needed power to get through it. You just felt like you needed... You know, it was another puzzle room. Like here, it's quote-unquote wisdom to get through here. The other one's quote-unquote courage to get through there. And the power room is kind of like, eh. But that's not a bad thing. It's something I noticed, and, you know, people probably disagree with me. So we're in here actually for a while, and I decided not to speed this up just to show the initial struggle. Because I was actually stumped in here for the longest time. And I left, I tried to do some other stuff, and I come back, and then I figure it out. But that's a ways away. So we took the beetle around the room just to look around, find out what's happening. And just a small hint coming up. I guess hint, but just a small comment. Just take it as you will. There are 3 more videos of Skyward Sword. So take that as you will. And... Alright, fight this dude, normal. These are fine. So, I spent the entire morning recording. It's been hot as hell. It was 80 degrees inside my house. Like, inside the house itself, that's what the thermostat said. But then, I forgot he did that. He flew outside of the time crystal region. And then I almost lost that rupee. No! Useless money! But yeah, so... Oh, that scared me the first time that happened. Because I forgot that they can do that sometimes, just whoa stuff. And then of course I get whooped by these dudes. I always get whooped by them. I like that it preserves his death animation too, because we move the time crystal over and then he dies. I think that was cool. Right here I'm trying to juke him out. Didn't seem to work too well. I was really trying to figure these guys out, but I'm so terrible. I'm really lucky this game is forgiving, because I'm really really bad at it sometimes. This guy just whoops me. Lost 5 hearts, 5 or 4.5 hearts to the same dude. Oh my god. Yeah. So, what was I talking about? I was talking about this room. I was talking about doing stuff. Yeah. Oh, I said people might disagree with me about how I felt the puzzles and stuff are, whatever. When I was talking about the power and stuff like that. Yeah. So, I don't know if I trailed off on a point. I apologize. I do that a lot. There'd be times where I'm editing and I just go, what? And as soon as I go back to editing, I'm like, oh, I was talking about this. So, oh well. Yeah, this fan, dude, this fan took me forever. This fan is the reason I couldn't figure out this room for the longest time. Because I never walked over to look further in there to pretty much see the answer. So I was just like, do I just put air into the fan? Do I keep doing this? Do I keep doing that? I was just really confused. And my recording's lagging a little bit, but it looked fine before, so I'm really hoping it's just Vegas. My computer's overheating. That's what I was talking about, the heat. So my thermostat said it was 80 degrees in the house, and it's hotter in my room because I have all the electronics. It's like 95 in my actual bedroom. So, because I have the TV, the Wii, the Elgato puts off, its own heat. Not a whole lot, but it puts off some heat. And my computer's actually putting off a lot of heat. I'm actually worried about it. It's been doing that for a while, and my computer's like 5 years old at this point, so it's been through a lot. And the case, I can't put any more fans into the case because it's all like pre-built, unless like it has designated fan slots. So, and all the fans work, so that's not the problem. But it's really working too hard. It's getting too old, and the graphics card going might actually help, because I do need a new one. My graphics card always just starts doing the whole super loud fan thing after honestly, like after being on for a couple hours, it starts heating up. So maybe I need a new graphics card first. That'd probably help out, because the graphics card is what's putting off the heat, because that's the loudest fan in there right now. I'm figuring this out while I listen to it, so it might be that. And my processor fan, I took too long in between cleanings. Like, I clean my computer, a few times a year. I'm sure there are people that do it, like, every month. I do mine every, like, 3 or 4 months, which is probably still too late. But there's this one time I really didn't clean it for about 6-7 months. And now my processor fan has, like, some caked on dust. Like, it just kind of, like, burnt into it or something, so... I don't think it's not in the actual, like, heatsink part or whatever, like the grate, but it's in the fan itself, and I can't get it out. I've tried to scrape it out with, like, a Q-tip and stuff, but I don't want to do too much, because I know computers are very fragile. Like, once you open them up, they can be very, very touchy. So, like, I've seen them short before. I've had them short for stupid reasons, or stupid people doing stupid things. Like, the very first computer I ever had, I got it to play EverQuest, and I was 14, it was my parents' computer, but, I kind of made it mine. I made sure that they got one that had, some good specs, and, could run games and stuff, and I was on it all the fucking time. And I wanted to upgrade the graphics card one day. I think it was 14 or 15, and I had one of my cousins was living with us for, like, a couple years. His family lived in super far northern California, like Redding area. And we live in the Bay Area, so when he turned 18, he moved out. And he lived with us for a bit while he worked in the Bay Area, because, more jobs, better pay, stuff like that, better ingredients, better pizza. And so we wanted to replace the graphics card, because I got him into EverQuest. He really liked it, because he was like, what the fuck is this game? You start playing, it's like, oh my god, this is amazing. And so we went to replace the graphics card. And, he was older, so I trusted him, because I didn't know what to do. And we found where to put in the graphics card, because we asked the guy, like, oh, how do you do this? Like, oh, you just pop out the old one, it's gonna look similar, it's gonna be in the same slot. It's like where it's where the monitor gets plugged into the back of your computer, and just pop it in, and then you're good. You just pop it out, pop it in, and then everything should be hunky-dory. My cousin ended up... We used one of my dad's screwdrivers. My dad has like 16,000 screwdrivers because he works on cars and stuff like that in between. He's an electrician, but he does a lot of mechanical stuff. And so we popped open the computer with a magnetic screwdriver. Never do this. I'm sure a lot of you already know. But do not use magnetic screwdrivers around electronics. Because that's what happened. We tried to take off some of the screws. Magnetic screwdriver touched something. I wasn't using it, but it touched some piece of hardware in the computer and shorted the entire thing. The computer just died. Like, we didn't know that until we plugged it in and tried to turn it on. We had to buy another computer, but yeah, that was the end of it. One touch, shorted, destroyed. So I have used magnetic screwdrivers on my computer since then, but I use it sometimes to take off the case, like the case screws, because on my computer I have some like really shallow screw holes or something. I don't know how to describe it, but like a couple of my screws go in super deep and I can't actually pull them out. Like, I can unscrew them, but I can't pull them out. So like, I'll unscrew them normally and then I'll use the magnetic screwdriver just to pull out the screw, because you just fit it in, it pulls it out for you. Like, you pull it back, it pulls it for you. It's magnet, you know how magnets work. So that's the only time I really use it. But even then, like, as soon as the computer's open, I put the magnetic screwdriver on like the other side of the room. I'm so cautious. And I try and ground myself, like I touch metal on it. Some people said it doesn't even help. Like, I read online, people are like, the only way to ground yourself is to actually have like grounding gloves or something. Like, just some way to discharge your static, otherwise just kind of taking a risk. So that's the only thing I'm really scared of. I don't mind working on my computer, I'm not afraid of it, but I'm always cautious of shorting it, because it's so easy that something like that happens. Alright, so at this point I was fed up with this place. I was like, alright, I'm gonna set up the other Triforce room, the power room. I was gonna try and attach it, but I couldn't do it quickly. So I was like, you know what? I don't like seeing challenges that I can't do. So I came back and I was like, you know, we're just gonna finish this. So I came back in. I noticed this door. I was like, I had never actually looked over there. So I went, alright, let's check this out real quick. Take a drink of my soda. Having some cherry Dr. Pepper. Yeah, so what I noticed, I heard this said to someone else. There was just a person that I knew, I'm not going to give specifics, and this person drank a lot of soda, drank a lot of Coke, specifically, you know, like, pretty much what they drank, you know, that was water to them. And their dentist said that you're destroying your teeth doing this, which makes sense, you know, all the acids and stuff like that in the Coke. Especially, Coke is highly acidic. It's a very acidic, like most, like, I think all soft drinks have acids in them, but like Coke itself is very acidic. Just to counterbalance the sugars, or at least that's what I think it's for. So it's really, you gotta be careful. And so, you know, this person drank a lot of Coca-Cola. And the dentist said you can't do that because you're destroying your teeth because it's so acidic. Among, you know, other things, because it's soda, it's still bad for your teeth, the sugars too. And the dentist said something I never thought of, because, I mean, I was younger at the time, I was like 16 when I heard this. The dentist told this person wasn't me, I promise that either. So this person, because I don't like Coke, personally. I drink it sometimes if I need to, but I really just don't. I'm a Pepsi person. I think Pepsi's way better. It's, for its own reasons, it's a little more bubbly, you know, it's got a little more effervescent. So, I do enjoy that, and it feels a little, this is kind of try-hard sounding. It feels a little bit smoother than Coke. Coke really feels like you have to, I mean, it's got the cola syrup in it, but it's really thick. It's a thick cola, so. I'm saying this like a soda connoisseur or something, but. Okay, so we're in here. And actually, these guys bother me. This is actually when I decided to redo the audio. It's actually in this room. I was trying to pick up the time crystal because I didn't want to fight these. So I want to get past them. And then I messed up there. They killed this one, but then I was so bothered at this one. I just whacked it. And also my Wiimote's off center at this point. You can just see where Link's naturally holding the sword. So, and then it gets me again. I couldn't stand it. Like, this is where it was, like, alright, pause it, calm down. Chill out, kind of thing. So with the dentist, and this guy just surprised me. I wasn't expecting that. I wasn't expecting the wall, I wasn't expecting him. And that was one thing that bothered me. I don't like that they just pop up and immediately attack. So it's kind of like, it's almost a jump scare level thing, and it just happens to catch you. Did this make me put down the crystal? I think it did. Yeah, it did. What an asshole. It actually makes you put down the crystal to pick up the stupid item for the first time. That's interesting. And then this takes a second, but that's okay. Yeah, so with this dentist, when I say dentist, I thought of Dennis, you know, like Hearthstone. People say Dennis when someone goes like hella aggro. The reason is from, I think it's one of Crip's videos, some guy he played named Dennis, turn 1 as priest, smites Crip in the face. It's one of the silliest things you can do, but I mean that's something new players do because they're just like, oh, I gotta play cards each turn, I gotta hit him in the face. You know, it's like, oh, I have damage, why not just hit him in the face? Yeah, so the soda thing, the dentist told this person, it's like, if you're gonna drink so much Coke, rinse your mouth out like when you're done, or like in between or something like that. Have like a little glass of water. I think he told the person to have 2 glasses, like one with water, one without it. So like rinse it out and then spit it into the other one. But it's like, it's to keep getting the sugar and stuff off your teeth. Which, ever since then, I've kind of done that. Like, it wasn't intended for me, but I took it to heart. And I do like soda. I really do. There was a period where I told myself, especially when I had a lot less money, I told myself, I was like, I can't have soda anymore, so I just stopped drinking it. But that went on for a couple years. And now I have like 1, 2 a day. Like 2, I try and keep 2 at the max. Just I'm worried about that. But each time I finish a soda, I do the same thing. I go into, when I'm home, I go into the bathroom though. And I get like a couple handfuls of water out of the sink and I just rinse my mouth out and I spit it. And when you have like cherry Dr. Pepper, it took me like 10 minutes to get back to this point. The cherry Dr. Pepper, it's crazy because when you do that, when you start doing that kind of stuff, like rinsing your mouth after you eat like certain like sugary foods and stuff like that, especially chocolates, you'll notice like how much of that stuff stays in your mouth in between brushing, and that's part of the reason why even if you brush a lot, or like if you brush twice a day, and if you do that and you still eat and drink junk food, you can still have bad teeth, is because like you'll sit there and you'll rinse your mouth out and I'll just spit out like cola syrup that's still stuck to my mouth. And with cherry Dr. Pepper, you spit out some cherry syrup too, so it's kind of like brownish red. But that, you know, that happens. And it takes a couple rinses to get most of it out. And then, same thing, like, you know, you have some kind of sweets like chocolate ice cream, same thing happens. Had to spit out a lot of that. So, you know, it's something you might want to try yourself, see if it's fun for you. You know, to look at that. I enjoy that kind of stuff. I enjoy seeing, you know, just, I don't want to say crazy stuff, like you do something like that and you go, oh man, what happens? You see that and you're like, oh my gosh, why does that happen? And then, you know, like you gain knowledge. I like learning things. That's always fun. I like having knowledge. I like having good knowledge, not impractical knowledge like I talked about before. This friend of mine that I'm not friends with anymore, I really thought that would reach. I think I tried to beetle it at some point. Like I tried to like pick it up with a beetle and it didn't work. You have to just throw it under. Yeah, I was so done with this guy at this point. I was like, alright, you're not coming to me. You're gonna catch this. Yeah, with this guy that I'm not friends with anymore, he likes to collect trivia. And that just, it's pointless knowledge. It's so... I've mentioned this before, it's so worthless. Like, why... Do you really need to know which of Rihanna's songs went platinum or whatever? Do you need to know how many top 1 hits she had? Do you need to know the exact year that Linkin Park formed as a band? Do you need to know all this? Like, is that really gonna do anything in your life? And then he was always the person where, because he knew a lot of pointless things that other people didn't know, he always felt smart because he knew a lot of stuff. It wasn't practical stuff, but he knew a lot of stuff, so he felt he was smarter than a lot of people, and that was kind of the darkest dungeon moment where overconfidence is a slow and insidious killer. So, if you want to have knowledge, have good knowledge. You know, learn why a water filter works the way it does, because it's a lot of carbon, and it picks up aqueous ions out of your water. That's why, you know, that's helpful stuff. That's cool stuff. Like, why does charcoal purify water? Because it does that. You know, kind of stuff. And boiling water, you get rid of impurities and stuff. So, like, practical knowledge. Like, when you have Survivor Man and Man vs. Wild, back when those shows were really big, they were really fun. I like watching them. I like both of them. Like, I don't want to say equally. I did like Man vs. Wild more, but I had a lot of respect for Survivor Man. But they both show you really crazy stuff. Like, how do you get water out of your own pee? Like, they've done it a few different ways. There's one that was really cool where you dig a hole. You need a container for this, and maybe like some plastic. Like, if you can find plastic wrap in a container in, you know, out in the middle of nowhere, you could do this. But you dig a hole. You put like the cup or the container in the hole, and then you pee around the hole, and then you cover the hole with the plastic, like something because what happens is the water evaporates out of your urine in the sun, and then it collects on the surface, because, you know, water evaporates, it rises, and then it collects on the surface of the plastic or whatever you have there. And then, yeah, we got the Triforce. Yay, one more! You know, and you put a little depression in the center over your cup, and then, like, the water evaporates, collects, goes over to the center depression, and then when it gets a little cooler, it falls into the cup. And so you can get, you know, fill a few milliliters of water out of your urine that way, but it's like, that's helpful. You know, that's still recycling, you know, your stuff. You don't just have to drink your pee, you can actually get water out of your pee, so that kind of stuff's really cool. Alright, so what's... Oh, I was salty that the time shift stone moved back, and I was like, why? I need it. Yeah, we're out of here. This room took a lot longer. The other room... Like, the only reason this room took forever is because this was supposed to be the easiest room, technically. But I just didn't see the immediate walk in, move the crystal, shoot the arrow thing. Like, if I saw that sooner, it would have been cake. I was talking before about how I'm not buying I was on the fence about buying the Hearthstone packs, the pre-order, and I'm speeding up the slider puzzle again. There is a way you can, like, hook all these, but like I said, it takes a lot of planning. So now we got this, and it takes me a while. So I double check, make sure everything works, and then, like, look at it, make sure all the doors connected. Yes, they are, Adam. All right, start running. All doors connected. Yes, they are. Start going. So yeah. So what else can we talk about? I guess Destiny. A little bit, just for a little bit. That video ended up cooling off at about 8,200 views, and that's the biggest video on my channel already, so I was really happy about that. And I've been having a lot of fun with it. My friend Perry and I were trying to two-man Crota's End on normal. People can solo it, but we've never... He got carried through it once, and I've never seen it. So, Master, I have information for you. I detected a source of sacred power somewhere within this chamber. Make sure I still read the dialogues. If you can find a way through the river of magma, I calculate a 60% chance you'll arrive at one of the sources of sacred power. Thank you, Phi. I recommend you press forward in search of the sacred, or the power prison here. Voice is starting to give out. Just because I've recorded for the last 3 hours. And we'll just leave it at that. I've been recording for a long time today, so I'm really... My voice is worn out at this point. Yeah, I was talking about... Okay, I was talking about Hearthstone. I was on the fence about buying the packs for the Grand Tournament, the pre-order. And so I was just chatting with the Beetle. I saw this. I was like, oh, I saw a switch. I was like, oh, I'll hit it. And you turn it off, and I guess that's just what you're supposed to do. Because they send it again. This area has a couple of nasty jumps. And then it has... How do I hit this one? Oh, I have to turn it on, that's right. Yeah. Gotta keep your lava flow going. There's an upward section where there are platforms and stuff, but I don't know... Did I get there? I think I did, actually. I can't remember. I don't remember this room too well. I remember this part because this part took me a little bit. But then the next part I don't really notice. Do I check my map? I thought I checked. I do. I check the map, make sure that there's a platform or something. So we decide to do it. Yeah, so the reason I think I'm gonna buy the packs now is just because it's a shortcut pack. That's what it is. Is the $50? I'm not rich by any means. I'm not trying to say it like that, but right now I can swing $50. I can actually afford that pretty decently, and I have no upcoming expenses that I can foresee. I mean, all the things I'm gonna do are calculated. You know, my normal monthly bills. Get an oil change in my car, you know, and that's like $30, $40 depending on where you go. And I know you can change it yourself for like 10. So maybe I need to learn how to do that. I don't know. I don't want to recycle the oil though. I'm lazy. So otherwise, the $50 isn't too bad. And the reason I want to get it now is because a lot of the packs, or not packs, but more cards are coming out, and some of them look really cool, look really fun. Like there's this Druid card that just came out called Darnassus Aspirant, which is a 2/3 battle cry, gives you a mana crystal, which is Druid's thing. They get extra mana, and then it has a death rattle that when it dies you lose a mana crystal, and that's actually pretty cool. Because you know people like drawback cards. I jumped early because I panicked. I didn't know how much time I had, so we'll get it next time. But the drawback cards are always interesting, you know, because you get to... It's like, if you can get... Because, like, with a drawback card, it's harder to get value out of them, but if you can get value out of them, you get a lot of value. Which is kind of the same thing as the RNG cards, like, you know, when they have random effects. If it has a random effect, it's like, well, if this goes my way, I get a lot of value. You know, like, a lot of good things happen if this goes my way. But I don't like RNG cards too much. They're fun. They are fun to use, but... it really sucks to lose with them, and it's not super satisfying to win with them. They're just fun to play. That's about it. And the game is about fun, so there you go. But I like drawback cards a little more because there are, like, the risks and stuff are more controlled. Like, you control more of it. I like to have the most... When I do anything competitive, actually when I play any game, I like to have the most control over my situations as I can. So, like, if I play Hearthstone, I don't like random cards because I like to control what my cards are doing. You know, I like to control my choices. And, you know, I'm cool with the only random effect being... Oh, I get the heart, that's what it is. I'm cool with the only random effect really in my deck being card draw, like what cards I pick up. And sometimes like Ragnos, but yeah. But a lot of the new cards look cool. The Aspirant looks really fun because it's an early drop, which Druid needs more early drops. Like the mechanized Robocub or whatever just didn't... Oh, Anodyne. Anodize? I can't remember what it is. But the Robocub didn't really do it. You know, it's a good card. It's just... You know, Druid really wants to Wild Growth on 2, that's about it. So... But this new minion gives you Wild Growth for free, but then has a drawback. It's also got Pseudo Taunt, so it's really good against aggro, which... The two things that destroy Druid, usually, are... Well, the three things are bad draws, which equates to a bad start, getting run over by aggro, and then tempo loss. And tempo is like what control you have of the board for the most part, and you know what, like how fast you're playing the game. Like Druid really wants to be in control of all that. You know, they want to be in control of what minions are on the board. They want to be in control of how fast you're playing minions or how fast they're playing minions. And they want to be ahead. Druid is not a class that catches up easily. So, like, if they fall behind, they usually lose. They lose board control, they usually lose. And so when you have... I was going to try and shoot these with my arrows, but then they started just flying at me. It was really sad. Interesting that they have the zombie keys on this side, but then you have the fire keys on the other side. I don't know if they're just... I don't know if they messed up and they just put the wrong keys in there. Or if they just wanted to change it up. You know? I don't know. But yeah. So this card, I keep talking about it, but the reason it looks really cool is the death rattle where you lose. I just panicked. I was like, do I just jump in? Because I saw the thing melting. I was like, alright, what's going on here? And so I decided, alright, let's send the beetle. I probably missed a switch somewhere. That was my assumption. Oh man, we're almost through the 38 minutes. This is what I'm talking about. These videos go so fast sometimes. Where like I just start talking about stuff and all of a sudden it's like, hey, the video's over. Like, oh shit. I missed the switch. There is a switch there. I'm gonna go back for it, I think. And so what ends up happening is, the reason I like it is because a really cool deck that I did like for Druid, which saw some play in early GVG, but then not so much after that, was the Watcher Druid. And what that is Ancient Watcher Druid. Do I do this twice? I make this mistake twice? I think I do. Yeah, I do. And so the... what you call it? The, in the Watcher Druid, you play Ancient Watcher, which is a 2-mana card that it can attack. Like, it cannot attack your opponent. So... it's like, well, what good is this card? It's... yeah, and then I see this, and I try and get both. Do I actually get both? I don't think I do. Maybe I do. No, I missed this jump. That's what it is. I was actually pretty salty when I missed this jump. I'm spoiling. I shouldn't be spoiling you guys. I'm sorry. I should have just waited. Like, if I waited, I could have made that. Because it would have started going, and I would have had time to wait on my platform. But at that point, we were cool. Yeah, so the Watcher, like, it can't attack, but it's got ridiculous stats. Like, it's a 2-mana card with the stats of a 4-mana creature, aka Chowan Yeti. So that's really good. It's way over budgeted, but it's got a huge drawback. So it's like, if you can do something to that card, you get a ton of value. That's the whole point. Most people just drop taunts on it. Sometimes they silence it so it can attack. But if you drop a taunt on it, that's like the best thing, because they have to trade into it or they have to remove it, but otherwise it's like you're just kind of removing a wall that wasn't really doing anything offensive, you know, it's just being defensive. But then if you silence it to get around the taunt, then it can attack you and it can start doing stuff. So it's a really interesting dynamic. And the reason I like this Darkness Aspirant is because it looks like it would be cool in the Watcher Druid deck, because the Watcher Druid has Wailing Soul. Wailing Soul's a 4-mana card that silences all of your stuff. And so people play cards with a lot of drawbacks on them that you silence on turn 4, and all of a sudden you have a bunch of great cards just sitting there, like a bunch of great minions on the board, and that's kind of the way it's meant to be played, and it's pretty fun. So that card looks like it'll be good in that deck because it's got a huge drawback, but you can silence it. So it'll be cool. But yeah. So that card looked really fun. There are a couple other cards that look pretty fun. And I was kind of getting excited about playing Hearthstone again, so I'll probably throw the $50 at it. I really don't want to buy 50 packs. I wish it was like, I wish they did the $20 deal for like 30 packs. That would have been fun. Because I don't need to buy 50. Like, if I buy 50, I'm gonna have every card. That kind of takes out the purpose of getting cards. You know, the fun is getting cards. If you just buy all of them at once, that's kind of shitty. But then also, if you start out and you don't have really any, then it's kind of like, eh. Kind of feel bad because you're sitting there trying to get all these packs or whatever, and you're just behind. That's Blizzard's model for the game, so there you go. The same thing, I was like, oh, I have to change this back apparently. This was probably the hardest part of the room. I mean, I failed like 3 times at it, so that's probably why. But yeah, after this video's done, Destiny, Perry, and I are trying to 2-man Crota's End on normal. And it's been pretty easy so far. There's so many stupid exploits you can do in that place. Bungie really screwed up making that instance. It shouldn't even be a raid instance. It'd probably be fun with 6 people, but it should just be a strike. Like, that is a 3-person instance, honestly. Because you can solo, like the first part, you have to run through the dark and open a bridge. And 1 person can open the bridge. Like, we saw a video online of some hunter stealthing and doing it, and Perry has a hunter, and so he was able to do it. It took us a couple tries, but pretty much the run that we did it, I died immediately. And I start going for this. Yeah, I shoot this one down, I was worried about shooting the crystal because I thought my platform would stop. But then I shoot down the extra platform just in case I miss this jump. Like if it's up and I can't make the jump, I can jump back onto the other platform that I have saved up. So just trying to plan ahead. Yeah, so we got through the abyss part really easy. After a couple tries, Perry was able. The whole thing is the hunter just like goes invisible because they get like 3 or 4 different invisible effects, and then they just chain them together, and they never get attacked until the bridge forms. Then you go into the second part. And then on the second part, you just get one person across. We actually had a third person help us with this. You get one person across, they hide, and then I play a warlock, so I actually had a job this time. And my job was to suicide, and then resurrect, and then after that I was able to use a sniper rifle and just keep picking off dudes. And so you spend like 10 minutes just sniping stuff from across the map, and then you go through the second part, and then the third part is the third boss. Well, part is a boss, and then to kill her or him, I don't know. I think it's a her. But the way we did it is we go into one side, burn down the 2 things that we're supposed to burn down, go into the other side, burn down the 2 things we're supposed to burn down, and then go back into the center and then burn down the boss. It's supposed to be a 3-minute long fight, and it's just a lot of burning. It's a lot like, it's a DPS race almost. But you can, if you prioritize the right targets, you only have to kill 5 things. And that took us a couple tries, and then we burned it down. Then we're on the last boss. Now we're on Crota, and we're trying to 2-man him. We haven't really got a strat down for that yet, because we don't have enough damage to punch through Crota's shield by ourselves, because we don't have Gallahorn. Neither of us do. I mean, we can punch through it by ourselves, but it does take a little bit. So the coordination of getting the sword to the boss when the shield comes down and being able to get damage and not die has been challenging so far. We've only tried it a few times, so we'll probably get it down at some point. But after this video, I'm actually going to go get lunch, I think. I'm really hungry. I'm going to get lunch. I need to buy socks, so I'm going to buy socks today while this video is rendering. And then I'll probably play ESO for a bit if Perry's not on. I really don't want to do Crota today, though. I really want to play like some chill back, casual ESO level stuff where I just run around and do pointless quests leveling a character. That's just kind of what I want to do right now. But yeah, so yeah, my video is really laggy. My computer needs a break. My voice needs a break too. I need to just stop doing stuff. I actually recorded everything. I recorded this one in the next video in one shot. I tried to backflip into this. Thought it was cool. So yeah, this one and the next one are together, but I chopped them in half. And I start live commentary again on the next one, so it's feeling less salty. And then we have one more after that. So those of you who've seen this probably know what's coming. Actually, I'm sure you know what's coming. But yeah, thanks for watching. Next time, rest of the stuff. See ya.